Restaurant underneath that glass pyramid building to your right. Just up ahead on the right side, the red and blue roof building, that is a steak and seafood restaurant. And if you like Italian food, well then El Fornaio, the beige building with the red terracotta roof. You can rent bicycles, ride along the miles of sidewalk, and the island is not that wide, so it's very easy to ride over to the ocean side of Coronado. To the right there, we've got some apartment buildings, some of the only apartment buildings on the water's edge. This next very large structure is another commercial property. This is the Coronado Marriott Hotel. Now on the other side of the island, there are actually 10 15-story high-rise buildings which went up in the early 70s. And they actually put these modern buildings next to the beautiful Hotel del Coronado. Well, the residents were very upset by the structures being built right on the beach, that they put into effect, very strict building ordinance which still stand today, and that's that no new home on this island can be over 2 stories tall, and no new commercial property on the island can be over 4 stories tall. Very strictly enforced. In fact, look to the right here over the tree lines, you will see those tall condos which were put up in the early 70s. To the right of that last tall condo, you'll probably catch a glimpse of the red spiral rooftop, which is the Hotel del Coronado. Now within the tree lines here to your right is a wonderful golf course. It's the Coronado Municipal Golf Course. Wonderful place to play golf. Now the bridge in front of us was built in 2 short years, between 1967 and 1969, at a cost of $49 million. Since then, the bridge had to be retrofitted to be able to withstand a 7.0 on the Richter scale. The federal government spent another $100 million in construction costs doing so. See, the bridge is actually built on an active fault line. The bridge is 195 feet tall, 2.12 miles long. It's actually longer than the Golden Gate Bridge. And it's orthotropic in design, meaning there's no cable suspending it. So when you drive across the top of this bridge, you actually have unobstructed views of the bay, and also directly in front of you into Coronado and beyond to the open ocean. When the bridge first opened back in 1969, it was dedicated to the then governor of California. You may remember in 1969, that was the late President Ronald Reagan. He actually did the ribbon cutting and then drove across this bridge. As we get closer to the bridge, pan your head from the left side, which is the San Diego side, over to the right side, which is Coronado. You're going to notice the bridge has an 80-degree curve on it. And the reason they put that curve on the bridge was not only to make the bridge long enough to cross the channel, but they also wanted to give a gentle enough slope to the cars crossing the bridge. Now, if you pan your head to the right side, get about 3/4 of the way down the bridge, look under the bridge, and on the other side, you'll see some low-lying brown buildings. That is where they train the Navy SEALs. SEAL Teams 1, 3, 5, and 7. The United States Navy SEALs are a very elite group of the Navy, very tough to become a SEAL. In fact, during their training period, there is a 70% dropout rate. Now the bridge separates the north end of the bay, which is what we are currently in, from the south end of the bay, which is on the other side of that bridge. There is no way into the open ocean or out of the bay from the south end of the bay. It's a dead end down here. The only way in and out of the bay is from behind us. Now the bridge does not only separate the north end of the bay from the south end of the bay, but on the other side of the bay, it's also considered or called our working waterfront. Most people don't realize that San Diego has such a large working waterfront, but it's actually responsible for about 42,000 jobs. It brings in $8 billion to this region's economy every year. In fact, if you look coming up to the left, you'll see a white building on the shoreline. That's Northrop Grumman. Northrop Grumman is actually a civilian company, but they only work on Navy ships. They were just recognized as the first shipyard in the nation to go totally green. They've won numerous environmental awards for that. Now you can see ship number 104 right now. Ship number 104 is an Arleigh Burke class guided missile destroyer. That is a very, very powerful warship. She's having some work done. Probably looks like they're painting it, actually, part of it. And as we come up, there's another ship, the Comstock, number 45, having some work done to it. Now the Comstock is an LSD. She is used to transport troops and equipment all over the globe. She was actually christened in 1990. That type of ship there, those older LSDs, are actually as we speak, are being phased out by the Navy in order to make room for a new LPD, which is going to take its shape. Now that new LPD is of the San Antonio class, and you're going to get to see, I believe we have 3 in the bay right now, but here's one of them, number 18, just up ahead on our left side. Number 18 is the New Orleans. She is slowly going to phase out these older LSDs like number 45 you see behind us now. Now, if you're wondering about the white shrink wrap on these ships, it's not to hide anything so you can't take a picture of it. It's actually to protect the environment. Before any of these ships are hydro washed, sandblasted, or painted, to ensure none of the particles pollute the bay, they completely will wrap it up, and the particles won't be able to get off the boat into the water. Coming up, BAE Systems, this beige thing. This is called a dry dock, and if you don't know what a dry dock is, it's basically a floating garage. You can sink the entire unit down, very carefully float a ship inside of it, just like you're looking at, and then you bring it back up to the bring it out of the water. What they're doing there, that is a Ticonderoga class guided missile cruiser. Along with the destroyers, that is a very powerful warship. Looks like they're painting the entire hull of that ship. Ship number 53, as is ship number 69. 2 more Arleigh Burke class guided missile destroyers. Again, you are looking at 3 of the more powerful warships. You see, ship number 52 and the other 2, 53 and 69, both implement what is called the Aegis weapon system. And that weapon system is a very powerful guided missile system. You see, ship number 52 will have 120 vertical launching tubes through the hull of the ship. 53 and 69 each have 82 vertical launching tubes through the hull of the ship. Inside each of those tubes are one of the following: anti-air, anti-missile, anti-submarine,